Council of Europe Parliamentary Assembly Session. Announcement of Protection of Camp Ashraf Declaration. October 7, 2011. Protection of Camp Ashraf Declaration. We support the mission of Ambassador Jean de Ruyt, who was recently appointed as the EU's Special Representative on Camp Ashraf. We demand that he visit Ashraf very soon. A call on the UNHCR to reconfirm the political refugee status for Camp Ashraf residents. The necessity to station a constant UN monitoring team at Ashraf and action by the US, the European Union, and UN. Make Iraq cancel the deadline to close Ashraf, end the siege and psychological torture by 300 loudspeakers, uninstall jamming and surveillance devices outside the camp, and allow the residents free access to their lawyers and medical services.
Ladies and gentlemen, dear colleagues, may I inform the Chamber that two written declarations have been tabled. Number 501 on protection of Camp Ashraf, which has been signed by 108 members, document 12765.
We have two real main issues here. One is we need to see United Nations observers actually and monitors in the camp, and we need them to be working on a daily basis with the authorities both inside Iraq and outside to ensure the safety, the well-being and the good order of the camp. So this message is clear and I hope succinct in saying that we welcome the initiative of the EU, but can they do more?
So it's clear that the camp must be able to stay on after the end of the year, and the human rights must be guaranteed during all that time. At the same time, it's very essential for the camp that when Catherine Ashton, Foreign Minister of the European Union, has appointed an ambassador to Camp Ashraf, so that that ambassador as soon as possible visits Camp Ashraf. And in addition, it's very important that the United Nations and Human Rights Commissioner's representative will have a seat, a place in Camp Ashraf, that he can monitor the situation in Camp Ashraf all the time, and that way try to prevent that there will be no human rights violations and that there will be no attacks on residents of Camp Ashraf.
We are discussing the problems about fundamental rights and freedom. There is the basis of the values of the world, and we can say that individual people have the opportunity to live on the best way that's possible. And so we are confronted with the problems in the Camp Ashraf. And so I'm happy that the EU side, Catherine Ashton, has taken some measures. She has nominated a special representative to give her information about the situation in the Camp Ashraf.
We are planning to adopt a resolution what has to facilitate the destiny of a few thousand people in Camp Ashraf. What we want to do, not only we in the Parliamentary Assembly of the Council of Europe, but European Union, the United Nations, first to have a status of refugees, not only war refugees, but political refugees for Camp Ashraf, and to protect these people from the illegal control or condemnation or control of attacks from local authorities.
Well, I think that any artificial deadlines are, in my feeling, dangerous. Very long time known fact that the Iranian government, the Iranian regime, is trying to portray people in Camp Ashraf as, say, terrorists, which of course is completely untrue, because the PMOI and like-minded organizations were delisted by the European Union from any such blacklist, and I hope they will be very soon delisted also by the United States. So it is just a opposition, a democratic opposition against undemocratic regime, and they should be treated like that.
An important message that I want to give is an absolute condemnation of the brutal attacks that have taken place by Iraqi forces on people in Camp Ashraf, with many people being massacred, many more people being injured. And of course, it's not simply the attacks that have to be condemned, but also the ongoing, in reality, psychological torture against the people in Camp Ashraf, with the blaring sound designed to demoralise people, make people being unable to sleep, etc. That is completely inhuman behaviour that's taking place.
I'm pleased that my good friend Cathy Ashton, the High Representative for Foreign Affairs for the European Union, has agreed to appoint a senior diplomat, a very experienced diplomat, Mr. de Ruyt, to look after the residents of Camp Ashraf. He will be her special envoy there. I know he will be meeting with the Iraqi government very soon. He will take his job very seriously indeed. He brings years of experience to the job, and he will be our eyes and ears there, making sure that he's the tripwire. We know exactly when anything happens to the residents of Camp Ashraf. We will be absolutely vigilant, and if anything does happen, we will react absolutely immediately. I think it's important that Mr. de Ruyt as well uses his past association with the United Nations to try to make sure that we get a United Nations team established there to make sure that they observe as well and look after the safety of the residents of Camp Ashraf.